Hi everyone, I got a Ryobi 18 volt chainsaw and I'm about to do a little unboxing and see where it goes. To date, I've just got my utility knife to open it, which I just cut open, and the rest we'll see together. Okay, so there's not much to it, as you can see. We pull this little cardboard piece out, set it down here. There's a manual with some, as you can see, this is the Ryobi 10-inch 18-volt cordless chainsaw. There is no battery included on this. It does say it has a 3-year warranty. I think the easiest way to pull it out is just to grab the handle. Let's try it. And pull it out. Okay, here we are. Box is empty, so that's done. Got a few things to take off. So here's the primer for the oil. There's no oil in it. I'll show you this way, if you can see inside. You can also see it here. One thing about chainsaws, if you're not used to them, at least on the tree pruning saw I have, you really have to check the oil pretty often. So make sure you get the oil and use it. Okay, so doing a little reading. A few things, obviously. The battery will go here and show you that in a little bit. As far as the oil, it says, I thought it was a self-oiler, but what it is it says to put your oil in, and before you start it, you prime it once and let it go. And then every few minutes, you just pump it again to keep the oil chained. It does say, or did I say to keep the oil chained? To keep the chain oiled. It does say that seepage is normal. So to empty this, I don't know that I'm gonna do that. I'm just gonna put it in my shed, and hearing that, I may not put as much oil as I normally would have. My other saw actually self-oils. So anyway, the other piece to this, to get it going, it has this, what they call the lockout switch, because the trigger won't activate. So you pull that back, it's just a safety switch, good idea. Little safety here. So again, the safety switch. Now the odd part, I thought that because of my other saw, I tighten it by going in this way. However, this one, it shows, I don't know if you could read this up close, chain tensioner is right here. Now, you loosen this in order to do it, because that helps lock it in. There's no tool to take this off. So I need a tool of my own to take this off. So I'm just gonna get some hex wrenches. What I've discovered is, depending on what you have available, either a 5mm seems to fit it, or a 3/16. So either way, it should fit it. I'm gonna take this off. And see what we've got here. Okay, so there's nothing here. That's how it looks when it's off. I thought there was supposed to be a tool with it, but I do not see anything here. Anyway, that's all right. It really didn't make sense, so maybe I misread something on that. However, when you're going to tighten this up, you do not need to take all of this off. You'll just need to loosen it. And as far as the tightening instructions of what's proper, I would just read the directions on that. I don't think Lowe's carries this, so you'd have to get it out of Home Depot or Amazon or someplace where they carry this. I had a Ryobi pole saw for several years that worked really well, and when it went out though, it went out, so I've got a Greenworks, which if you're curious on pole saws, I have a video on that too, so unboxing and using it. So that one's actually been pretty good for me. But anyway, I just needed something closer up. Another reason I got this thing is because, you know, it's handy. you know, it's not for long reaches, obviously, and it's also lightweight. I was looking at all kinds of chainsaws, whether it be gas powered or you know, electric, which I'm not a fan of electric. I'd end up cutting, you know, my cord or having to drag it out everywhere. So that's kind of a pain. So I didn't want to do that. Plus I already had, for this one, it's lightweight. It's, I don't know, my gosh, just a few pounds. I'm sure it says on the box somewhere, but it's pretty light. And I'm going to do a lot of side cuts. So that's one reason I wanted a lightweight one. For the price point, Ryobi's, I think, pretty good. So I'm not going to complain about them at all. Anyway, let me get a few things and see what we got. Okay, so here is my Ryobi battery. I have a couple of them for a weed eater. I also had this for my old pole saw. So, you know, batteries, as you probably know, are so expensive that you want to kind of keep everything in the family. So, you know, I've got a few different brands and everything, but even whether it's Ryobi or another brand, you know, you got the different voltages, 18, 40, whatever it may be. So, you know, that being said, this is obviously not going to be as powerful as some others. For instance, what I would have gotten, because I've heard good news about that as well, or good ratings from a friend, his brother had gotten a Milwaukee. If you're familiar with Milwaukee, their tools are really good. However, their chainsaw was, without the battery, was, I believe, about $330 or so. And this one, again, I got on sale. I think it was $120 the other day. I think it's normally $150 maybe or something. But anyway, for my uses, I'm not gonna look at spending crazy amounts because I have to get some other tools as well. So take that into consideration when you get it. If it's gonna be something you're gonna use a lot, you know, obviously consider that. Anyway, that's up to you. So, you know, obviously the manual says to get Ryobi, bar and chain oil. I have some of this that I use on some of my other stuff, and I think it'll work just fine. I'm gonna go pour it somewhere else, not here, where my wife might get mad at me for doing it on our little table, and I'll be right back. Okay, I poured it. It went smoothly. I didn't fill it up, but I did pretty good. So what it says to do is just pump it once to fill it with oil as far as lubing the chain. So I'll do what they say. The only other piece to it, it's completely assembled, it says, so that's good. You just snap that in and it works. Let's see, you got to pull this back. All right, let me go try it on something here. See if I can hook this up where you guys can see it. So let's cut some of this and see how it works. All right, so I've got my safety glasses on. If you've never cut anything, get some safety glasses, because those little wood chips can really get you sawdust, whatever it may be. So anyway, let me direct this camera where I think it's supposed to be. I'm just gonna cut a few just to show you how it works. There's a little one. Now, you notice that was kind of floppy. You're really needing to cut it closer down to the trunk of something. I just wanted to show you that it was going to work, because I didn't know either. This is the first time I've used it. And I'll pump it again for some oil. And I'm going to cut some of these other ones as well. I'm going to cut this one again, but down here where it's at, you probably can't see it. Let me try to tilt it where you can. It's just caught up in the other growth. All right. So it's this thick. It did okay. I mean, I gotta tell you, if you're looking for something that's going to cut through some real thick stuff. I don't know about this one. Let me see how quick it cuts. I mean, it cut it okay, but I'm just a little bit questionable. Let's see. I'll cut this one here. I'll cut it here just for now. It's actually cutting a lot better than I thought it was, so I'm actually a little bit more impressed now. Anyway, let's finish this off. That did pretty well. I was standing back to make sure it didn't fall on me. I tried to cut a little bit of a groove in it, but as you can see, that one's pretty thick and it cut through it pretty quick, so I'm actually pretty happy with that. So I'm going to cut some others that are going to be a little bit thicker than that. However, I think this will do the job. Just look at the manual if you're not used to doing it. They actually give you some pretty good tips on cutting, because sometimes they bind up on the, when you're cutting where the limb may put pressure and bind it up. So there, if you're not used to doing it, look at the manual or YouTube video or something and see how to do that. All right, I thought I'd wrap up at least my opinion on our Ryobi 10-inch 18 volt. So 18 volts, not a real powerful chainsaw, but I think for my purposes, it should work no more than I'm going to use it. If you're going to be cutting a lot of stuff and you have a lot of trees where that's your only option as far as that one chainsaw, and you want to put less effort into it, you might look at getting either a more powerful chainsaw or even a heavier one. I just wanted something that's easy to charge, I don't have to mess with a lot, and I do think this is going to work for me. So as long as you're not looking at doing some professional cutting, going at it all day, I guess even for a pruning saw this might work for you. But it cut through some pretty thick stuff. So again, consider what you're going to be doing and how much you're going to be using it. And I've got a couple batteries, so that was my real deciding factor, plus the price, because I didn't want to pay a whole lot and no more than I'm going to use it overall. I'll probably use it for a long time, but just in different increments. Every year I'll use it some, but I'm not out cutting trees all the time. So anyway, hope this helped.